I was born in Divine, and it was a little house behind a little store called Independent Grocery, and an old subdivision it was referred to as the Chicano. Predominantly, it was all Hispanic in that community. And my dad was a farmer. He would farm for other gentlemen, and so he would take us up to the Panhandle around Lubbock. As soon as school was out, you go to the field. On the weekends, you work all day. As a 9-year-old, my dad would drop us off at about 6 in the morning, and in a very isolated place, and he'd go off to another area. The cotton is inside of a very hard shell that has all these prongs on the end, so by the end of the day your hands are all scratched and cut up. If you had gloves, you were lucky, but most of the time you didn't have gloves. And the cotton bag, like I said, sometimes were 15 feet, maybe 20 feet long, and then once you got it to weigh about 150, 200 pounds, you would drag it over to a scale. Once they weighed it, then you would climb up this wooden trailer, take your bag up there and unload all your cotton into that trailer, and you go do it again. My mother was always there. The little kids would straddle her sack like a horse, and my mom would bring out a canvas bag and lay out our tacos or whatever she brought to eat. It was part of the life. You never complained. Then when the cotton season was in break between chopping weeds and cleaning the fields and picking cotton, we would work in people's yards. I was a shoe shine boy at a barbershop on Saturdays. Because for us, it was survival. We needed the money to eat, and there was no luxuries. My dad passed away from pneumonia when I was 13, so we moved back to Divine. We came to live with my granddad, and there was 8 of us living in a 2-bedroom house with no hot water, no conveniences, but you may do with what you got. When you lose your father, and that's a hard deal. You're 13 years old and you become almost a man at that time. So you look at life different, but you don't say, oh, woe is me, I can't do anything because I don't have anybody, but it just makes you stronger to proceed on. We registered here at the Divine High School. I did, and then my younger brothers and sisters in elementary and junior high. I don't think the teachers knew the situation. I was pretty much introverted, but the teachers were always real friendly, very respectful towards me, and they would always talk to me and give me good advice. The coaches were also mentors to me.
Very quiet, such a gentleman, courteous, polite. And over the course of time, I learned of his situation at home. My husband was a basketball coach, so naturally I looked at Randy as a potential basketball player. But he couldn't play basketball because he had to work and he had to support the family.
Lucky for me, I had a mentor, which was a superintendent of schools. He took me under his wing, and he always made sure that I got put on that manpower program, that I had a job. I would weed eat, mow the lawn, clean all the school buses. I would paint the stands, paint rooms like this.
He was mopping in the gym, and the coach said, come on, why don't you practice with the varsity here? He said, well, I don't have any shorts. For an hour, he got to be on the team with the varsity players. And so things like that, a child won't forget.
My superintendent finally asked me when I was a senior, he said, Randy, what are you going to do now that you're a senior? I said, well, I want to be a DPS trooper. He said, well, we all went to A&I in Kingsville, and we think you need to go to A&I in Kingsville. We see you're pretty good in math. We think you need to go into some kind of a business degree. So I said, Mr. Barnhart, if that's where you think I need to go, then that's where I'll go. I told my mom I'm going to go to college. My mother said, how are you going to get to college? I said, well, I'll figure a way, because I didn't have a ride.
He had to find a ride to Texas A&I. And he gets out of the car with his suitcase and looked around and saw all the other students getting out of their cars with their luggages and their parents wishing them well, and he had no one.
I started looking for a job, and coincidentally I met up with a senior, and he said, there's a gentleman that's looking for help. So I went to go talk to him, and he had muscular dystrophy, so I became his aide, and I took care of him 7 days a week for the 4 years I was there. He couldn't bathe himself, he couldn't put his clothes on. I did all those things for him. So that made me appreciate my life, and that I have 2 hands, that I have 2 legs, and that God gave me everything I have so that I can do what He has given me. The money I made, I would send it to my mother and keep enough to do my laundry. I stayed at the dorm all 4 years in the same room, and because that way I could get my meals there. And I did other odd jobs as well as taking care of him. If I came home for Christmas, I would work for the city, patch up potholes. In the summer, I would work in construction. There was no dating, no spring break. Do your work, do your studies, get in and get out. The way the bank job came about is when I graduated, I was looking for a job. I would pack a lunch. I'd go downtown to San Antonio. My job was to find a job. I applied everywhere. And then finally I got a job with the FDIC as a bank liquidator. I was there for a while, and then I got a call from Franklin Wanura, who was the president of Lotto State Bank.
His mom had came in to see me. I said, well, how's Randy doing? I said, oh, well, he graduated. He's gone to work for FDIC. I said, FDIC? I said, oh my God. I said, I want to talk to him. I need him down here.
I said, most definitely. It would allow me to help my mother out more because I wanted to take care of my mom and make sure that she was well taken care of. So my goal was to get her out of that house. My granddad had already passed away, but the house was pretty much falling down. I would go with a realtor every day looking for a house until I finally found one that she liked. Me and my brothers got together and we provided her with this house. And then we took care of my mom. So my mom was always a priority. She was always a mentor. She was always there for us. Now it was our job to take care of her. I never had doubt that I wasn't going to graduate school. I never had doubt that I wasn't going to go to college. The struggles were financially that, you're there at school, you're sometimes in the evening, you're starving, you're hungry. That made it tough. When I was in high school, I didn't think I was going to be a president of a bank, but it happened because of hard work. In total, I've been with the bank now 37, going on 38 years. Whatever it is you desire to do, and if you do it to the best of your ability and give it all you got, then you can make a good life for yourself and have pride in what you do.